Heads up, players. Sean Connery, it's still your board.
I'll take swords for 400.
It's actually not swords, sir. Swords.
Hey everyone, Stacks here. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm checking out the free comic book day, Xmen #1. We'll dive right into this thing and hopefully have a good time doing it. Let's go! Because we give credit where credit is due here on the channel, Jonathan Hickman and Teeny Howard are your writers, Pepe Larraz is your artist, and Marte Garcia is your color artist. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did, and I'm gonna leave it. So they're doing free comic book day a little different this year. It's like free comic book day every Wednesday. You get a book. Typically, I have a pull list, so my guys there at the shop have been throwing in the books they know I read, and I actually got a Power Rangers one that looks pretty awesome. I flipped through it and I was like, this is Power Rangers? Holy cow. Let's just say it wasn't the Saturday morning cartoon live action thing that I remembered as a kid. Getting to this book though, getting to the Xmen #1 free comic book day, what this serves as is basically a teaser for X of Swords, 10 of Swords if you will. Alright, the book starts with the introduction of these 4 characters that I am not familiar with at all, so if anyone has seen them in anything else, just let me know down in the comments below. You'll be helping a brother out. Of the 2 characters, it seems that Seabass, the female fish looking one, is in charge. I'm just making that name up by the way. And that the big minotaur looking dude is some kind of sorcerer because he's given the order to summon it forward, and when he does, he summons this giant root tentacle looking thing. Now admittedly my first thought here was it was a tentacle, but then I thought maybe just possibly it's a root, like a root for Krakoa or something. And maybe what Krakoa is some kind of life form other than just some giant island. Maybe it's a species that's out there in space and they're going and finding one of them or something. I don't know, just throwing some stuff out there because I don't have a clue. Well, once this thing is pulled through the portal, it bucks up a little bit and seems to be kind of aggressive until the Minotaur guy gets told, hey, turn it into something a little bit more manageable, and he ends up shrinking it down. From there, they make back through the portal and they say, now let's not keep her waiting. The death of a star is a small price to pay for the favor of Saturnine. And they're referring to Opaluna Saturnine, who is the Omniverse Magistrix. Now, she's been referred to as the White Witch over in Excalibur, and she's been that opposing force to Morgan Le Fay in Otherworld. Well, Seabass and the Minotaur are making this delivery of this, whatever it was they captured, and the White Witch is putting it inside this item that is being constructed. Well, once that thing is constructed into whatever item this is, it apparently is going to give her some kind of foresight into what's going on. She feels like she's blind at this point as far as future events. And she actually says, this place is the light of all universes, yet I am blinded by darkness, some clouding of tomorrow by the fire and ash of war, the spoils of the split and conflict that lies between them. I am blind, but I would see. So let's see what the future holds, shall we? And she pulls 5 tarot cards out of this box. The first card that she lays down is labeled Judgement, and on the card you have Apocalypse standing by the summoner that we were introduced to in Xmen #2, and in the background you have what looks like the Krakoan root system coming up and embracing these giant Nimrod crystals, or the Nimrod towers if you will. And the card reads, Finality, an irrevocable change. From here there is no going back. Surrendering to rebirth is the only path ahead. Now your guess is as good as mine on this one, but we know that Apocalypse over in Excalibur has been working hard to get and rescue the Four Horsemen, his original Four Horsemen. And we saw in one of the Sinister files that he's willing to sell everyone out in order to rescue them. If you look into the actual card itself, it talks about, or it actually depicts the blowing of a great trumpet and then a group of humans like raising up out of their graves. So it could just simply be talking about the resurrection protocols. The next card that she lays down is the Four of Wands, and this is obviously referring to Apocalypse's original Four Horsemen. And it depicts the 4 of them doing battle, and these are the guys that are seriously, they got left on Arokko to stand in the gap between the 2 worlds, and they're defending Krakoa, and they're defending this world from this invading force. The way the card reads is the labors of a community, a family, coming together for a black ceremony, a baptism of blood. The next card laid down is the Hanged Man, and this one reads sacrifice. Curious, can any of them be trusted to throw themselves on the pyre of change? Now, you have an interesting group here. You have Banshee, you have Archangel, you have Polaris, you have Richter, Glob, Penance, Beast, and Havoc, all marching in behind Apocalypse. And my real question here, or my real thought that really came to my head when it came to sacrifice, is that Apocalypse asked his Four Horsemen, his original Four Horsemen, to stand in that gap. Will he do it again? Will he put someone else in that gap, or will he himself stand in the gap between the two worlds? Put that one in your back pocket, because I'm pretty sure that could be where we're heading with this. The next card is the Eight of Cups, and I've heard a lot of people say that they think this is Storm somehow, that it ties back to the Jean Grey, Emma Frost, Giant Size X-Men issue that happened where she was infected with a techno-organic virus. I don't think that has anything to do with this. Honestly, I don't think it's Storm. The main reason is that it looks like this is the same person in the background here, and I suspect that's either Pestilence or Famine. And I'll show you another image at the end that kind of supports the theory of why it's probably one of those two. Back to the card, it reads, disillusionment, abandonment. That which was once the harmonious lifting of voices is now a mocking echo. Then silence. The argument for why this possibly was Storm was her leading the chants earlier, as far as during the resurrection. She was kind of that religious head figure up there, kind of ushering on the crowds, if you will. The last card, of course, is probably the most obvious, the Ten of Swords. And the card reads, betrayal. Betrayed by those who would show your back. A loss, but an expected one. One always expects a sunset hours after the dawn. So taking a look at this, the front row is pretty obvious. You have Cable, Apocalypse, Wolverine, Magic, and Captain Britain. In the shadows behind Betsy Braddock there is where you get a little trickier. I would say second from the left there is Storm, just judging by the hair color. Being the attention that this series going into it seems to be giving to Excalibur and hence Brian Braddock, I could see him possibly being there in the background. I'm not really sure who else is back there, but you guys take a look at it and tell me what you think. And leave a comment down below. Moving on to the very last page, which is the Cipher. It was actually kind of depressing because it says X of Swords, July. And I'm recording this on the 27th of July. Obviously, it's not coming out anytime soon. What are we talking, October? Last bit of information on X of Swords that I wanted to share, and I hinted at it earlier, was they released one of the covers and it has this picture on it, which is the Sword Breakers of Arokko. So a couple interesting pieces here. First of all is the giant crocodile, ur-pogg. It's not a surprise here, being the very heavy leaning on Egyptian iconography here. Leaning really heavy on Apocalypse's origin story and everything else. But it's interesting because this is obviously a playback on that. The Egyptians, crocodiles were like a real threat to humans at that point. You didn't want to go splashing around in the Nile, or else you'd have one of those things that's like 18 foot long come munch on you. And they actually gave crocodiles like deity status, and in this case it was their god Sebek. And you can check out the other ones, but there are only two more that really stand out, and that's War and Death. The other one that kind of stands out is Classified, which if you've seen the Penguins of Madagascar movie, that's all I could think about when I saw this advertisement for it. But you guys tell me down in the comments who you think Classified is. And guys, that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a good rest of the week. I actually have a blooper at the end of this that's pretty funny. I'm going to leave. But that's all I got. Real Comic Stacks. Out. There are people threatening each other with actual like Uzis and stuff. Like, holy cow, what is this? This isn't your Saturday morning Power Rangers. So I may have to go get on Power Rangers chick. Whoa. Whoa. Kick. I still have the man, that was bad. I still have still have the stitches in my mouth, and sometimes the words don't come out right.